Now, The Last Airbender is known for its amazing characters, as well as their nuance and growth within the series. And those characters extend well past the main ones. They have some of the best side characters and one-offs that really stick with you. I'm going to attempt today to recast the ones from the Earth Kingdom. Now, I already did recast the 4 main characters in the last video, so Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Zuko, but everyone was asking me why I left out Toph. Yes, I consider her a top main character, but she joins Team Avatar a little later on in the series. That doesn't mean she's a little less important. I just thought it would make more sense to focus on those 4. But today we're tackling her as well as the other characters that come from the Earth Kingdom. But as I said in the last video, there is absolutely no chance I can get through every single character within this series. Rather, I want to focus on the ones that are reoccurring characters and the ones that I feel are important to that overall story. So I apologize if I didn't get to your favorite character. Still, today we have a lot to get through. Today we're going to recast Toph, Suki, Boomi, the Boulder, Furu, Avatar Kyoshi, and most importantly, the Cabbage Merchant. So let's recast Avatar: The Last Airbender. First up, we have that character that everyone's been asking for, and one of the most important characters in the series, Toph. Not only is she badass, but she's a little bit of an oxymoron. I mean, she's a 12-year-old girl who is blind, who is also one of the most powerful earthbenders we see within the series. Now, Toph is obviously sarcastic, harsh at times, but most importantly, self-sufficient. She doesn't need anyone, except when she's putting up flyers.
It's upside down, isn't it?
Now, I feel like it's extremely important that we cast a small, helpless-looking child who needs to be around that 12 years of age in order to really sell it. Although you can go slightly older with the other characters, this one really needs that fragile, small presence. Her entire character changes if she's 16 and 5'5". Now, I will say there are limited choices out there, but I believe Mia Chek is perfect for this role. She's played similar roles in the past, but she's got that look, and she's definitely got that sarcastic nature, which is designed for Toph.
Cut! The line is, oh my god, it's a zombie.
Does it really matter, Akiko?
You're fired.
You're joking.
Am I?
When are you gonna let me do the music for one of your productions?
I don't work with friends, Graham.
That's a weird rule.
I must push my collaborators. I'd be too worried about your feelings. Party's over.
She's only 13 years old, but she's actually had some really big parts which allow her to show her range. But she's kind of known for showing that tough exterior in these roles, which is definitely needed for Toph. I think she has exactly the look, the build, and that nature to show an accurate representative of Toph. So Mia Chek as Toph. Next up we have Furu. Now Haru I considered not casting because it's probably one of the first storylines that's going to end up on the cutting room floor. That being said, I still love it. I like his transition. I like how he's soft-spoken yet mindful, and how he's kind of gentle even though he's a really gifted earthbender. Now I really want an actor who feels like he does for me, someone who's gentle, but really knows he can do something, and has that strength behind him. I went with Ki-Hong Lee, who is from the Maze Runner series, where he really shows he has that nature to him that makes me really feel like he's underselling himself, but has that power within.
Alright. You're not going back out there alone. Meet me in the woods in half an hour.
So Ki-Hong Lee as Haru. Next up we have the Boulder, a fun character with very little screen time, but he definitely makes himself known. Now he's a fan favorite, and it's well known that he's been modeled after The Rock, but also the creators actually wanted The Rock to originally voice him. Now that sounds awesome, but if I'm being honest, Dwayne The Rock Johnson will not appear in this show. First off, he's probably way too expensive and way too busy to do this, so with the likelihood of him taking the role being very low, I'm gonna look elsewhere. I think a wrestler obviously is still appropriate here, since we want that voice and that demeanor that really shows up in the WWE. I went with Joe Anuahi, who is best known for playing Roman Reigns within the WWE, so he's got that going for him. But he also plays The Rock's brother in Hobbs and Shaw. He obviously comes from that wrestling world, and he actually has some acting credits to his name already. I can see him playing into the ego of the Boulder and having that voice and that silly presence.
Well, guess what? I was born in this business. My family and my bloodline is this business.
So Joe Anuahi as the Boulder. Next up we have Boomi, the crazy Earth King who gave us a string of episodes that I love. He's obviously got that insane nature to him, and he isn't afraid to show it. Much like other people on this list, he's one of the most powerful earthbenders out there. But the main thing about Boomi is that he's old, looks crippled, but obviously underneath all that, he's very capable. But even bigger than that, he has a great time in whatever he's doing. Now Boomi was the most difficult to cast. If they made the series darker, Yahya Rahian would be great. He has that physicality and definitely the look, as well as the martial arts background, but unfortunately I just don't see that fun side to him and that little bit of crazy coming through. He'd be great to do the physical portions of this role, but I'm unsure if he can really act his way through it. And on the other side, we've got Christopher Lloyd, who would be great for that loony side of Boomi, but unfortunately he is white and definitely not capable of that physicality needed. I had to go for a deep dive here. That man is Su Lung Lung. Now he probably would need some coaching for the dialogue. He does know English, but he definitely isn't fluent. Here he is in Kung Fu Hustle, where he's obviously being dubbed, but you can still see his performance shining through.
Are you here on their behalf?
Don't misunderstand me. The only thing I'm here for is to kill the two of you. Or for you to kill me if you have what it takes.
Now, it isn't a perfect translation because he doesn't have a crazy voice or doesn't have a jack body, but I don't think those things will perfectly translate to live action anyways. What's more important, he has that skill and that silliness that this character needs. He has fun in his roles, and you can see that. He's also in great shape at 70 and can play every single side of this character.
That was much better, but you are still lacking precision.
Or even just a couple years back, where he still shows what he has in this fun role. His face, demeanor, and skills are all on point for Boomi. Get him to nail that voice and that dialogue, and we'd really have something magical. So Su Lung Lung as Boomi. Next up we have Avatar Kyoshi. Now she has a small part within the series, but definitely an interesting one. We need an actor who has that screen presence. One who's almost cold and you can tell she means business just with only a look. I want an older actor here who definitely feels like she's already into her own with her experience and she spent some time as the Avatar. I also want someone who's very familiar in action scenes as well. That all points to Maggie Q, who has done action, smaller roles, but just has that presence, that look, and that voice. Like even listen to this little voiceover and this simple dialogue. It just lines up and I can almost see her narrating and acting out the flashbacks for Avatar Kyoshi right now.
My name is Nikita. 3 years ago, I escaped and have been hunted ever since. I was the first recruit to get out. I'm going to make certain I'm not the last.
So Maggie Q as Avatar Kyoshi. Next up we have the Cabbage Merchant, my favorite joke from the Avatar series, and something that should definitely not be left out of the series as well. Now, you all know who is perfect. His overacting, his flip-out scenes. Ken Jeong is the Cabbage Merchant.
No! Unacceptable! When you say something starts at 9, it starts at 9! No!
So Ken Jeong as the Cabbage Merchant. Lastly, we have Suki. Another difficult one if I'm being honest. Now we want someone who's tough, strong, but also can let down that barrier. I want someone who's a little bit older so she can really show she's come into a leadership role, but someone who's still young enough to have a romantic relationship with Sokka. She needs to show that strength, but also can come into that softer side when she becomes more comfortable and trusts the people she's around. She also, much like Avatar Kyoshi, needs to be extremely comfortable in an action scene and be able to pull off that persona of a badass warrior. I went with Melise Zhao, who is the only actress I found who has the full package for Suki. She is a little bit on the older side, but she definitely doesn't look it. She's most known for her roles in Vampire Diaries, but I know her best in The Flash, where she definitely got some experience in action, which is important. It's hard to explain why I feel like she'd be perfect, but she just has that demeanor, even in the softer moments, which shows she has what it takes to play Suki.
Wait, let me try. She kept letters. Ones that he'd written her. She'd read them to me, said that they were in a secret language.
Love letters from Eleanor. Can't even imagine it.
He may be a jerk, but he still has feelings.
You can feel the strength in her character, the weight she brings to the performance. She just feels like Suki in my eyes. So Melise Zhao as Suki. So there are my casts for the Earth Kingdom. Let me know what you think of these choices. I did fly through these a little bit quicker than I would like to, but let me know your comments and what you would pick in the comments below. Next up we have fire, and then water, and then we'll probably get into the ones that just really don't fall into a category, like the freedom fighters, as well as the people we see from the air temples. So stay tuned for that and please subscribe. Thank you for your support guys, and I'll see you in the next video.